Okay, so this is the practice quiz. I am going to run through the answers on how this should look. So this should guide you on the quiz tomorrow, which will be the same format but without the answers. You just have to show the answers or show me how you got to them. So I'm going to start with this one. We're using square root of b squared minus 4ac. So what you should do is put parentheses for the variables and then put the rest of the problem as you see it. And then we put our b, a, and c in here. So our b is -5. Our a is 4. And our c is -2. So then that's how you will set that up. I'm going to do a side-by-side with the calculator. So once you do that, then we just have to put it in as we see it. So if we're using this calculator, we put our square root. I can go ahead and start with my parentheses in there, minus 4, and then we have another set of parentheses and another set of parentheses. So if you set it up like this, you can use this for both problems. Now I just put in the numbers that I need, -5, 4, and -2. You can see we get 7.549, which is rounded to 7.55. So this is what you should put for your answer, and then practice typing that into your calculator, because tomorrow you won't have the answer, you'll just have to figure it out. For the second one, again, it's the same setup of the problem. So what you want to do is start with the parentheses that are going to replace the variables. And then you're going to input b, a, and c. So b is -3, a is -5, and c is 6. So if you have this already up, what I'll do is just back these out and put the new numbers in. So your work is pretty much done for you. So we put a -3 here, put a -5, and we put a 6. So that's our 11.3, rounded that to a 6 right there. All right, so that's how you'll do those first two. This is what I want to see. All right, second, all these sets of problems, we're going to show your work to solve for x. So this is from page 4 of your notes. So we are undoing these problems. We're using inverse operations. These are all a two-step problem, but then we're adding the third step because we have to take the square root at the end. So if I'm working on this problem, I would add 72 to both sides, rewrite the problem, 2x squared equals 14 plus 72. That gives us 86. My next step would be to divide by 2. So I divide 86 by 2. That gives me 43. So x squared equals the square root of 43. We're not simplifying. We're not doing what we do later where we don't have decimals. We can here, but so the, oops, I didn't mean to put the square root of 43. It's just 43. And then what we do to undo the squared is we take the square root of both sides. So then this would be x equals, and then the square root of 43, we type that into our Desmos calculator. So I'll back all this out. And that gives us the 6.56 right here. And if you remember, because a number's squared, if it's two negatives it equals a positive, we would put the plus or minus 6.56 because both of those work. All right, same thing over here. We subtract 14 from both sides. So these are always the first two steps. You're either adding or subtracting based on what that sign is. So 230 minus 14 is 216. So we rewrite as 6x squared equals 216. We're going to divide this by 6. So that gives us x squared equals 216 divided by 6. I'm just using my calculator. 36. So to get the x by itself, we take the square root of both sides. So x equals, and then we're going to put the plus or minus here. And the square root of 36 a perfect square. Oops. Just showing it on here how you can do it. It equals 6. So plus or minus 6. So this is the work I would want to see to get to that answer. All right, and then there was one more example for this type of problem. We will start by subtracting 12 because we're undoing it. So 0 minus 12 is negative 12. Then we divide by 3. X squared equals 12 divided by 3 would be negative 4. And then we would take the square root of both sides. And then this was kind of a test to show you that we cannot take the square root of a negative number. We type that in, it says undefined. So we could just write no solution or undefined, whichever you want to write. So again, you doing this process will get you to that answer, and this is what I want to see on these tests. Okay, so the next page. Now we are simplifying radicals, so this is a lot of prime factorization type stuff. I like to start with 2 whenever there's an even number. I'm going to go through the process with the calculator just so you can see how you would do it that way. So 70, we know 72 is even, so 72 divided by 2, that gives us 36. 2 and 36. Oops. So over here, now I can take this answer and I do 36 divided by 2. That gives us 18. 2 and 18. We keep going with the 18. That's 2 and 9. And then the 9 is 3 and 3. So the way we talked about doing this one is all under this. We have 1, 2, 3 2's, and then 2 3's. And we're looking for pairs. We have a pair of 2's, a pair of 3's. So 2 and 3 come out. The 2 is left over. 2 times 3 is 6, root 2. So that's how we get our final answer. We're looking for pairs. All right, over here, same concept. So we're going to break down our 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. So inside this radical, we have 3 2's, we have 3 x's, and we have 2 y's. Now we look for our pairs. We have a pair of 2's, that comes out. A pair of x's, that comes out. Pair of y's, that comes out. What's left over on the inside is a 2 and an x. So you can see it here. We just have those by themselves. They'll stay inside. So that is our final answer. So again, we're looking at you breaking this down so you can find the pairs in those. All right, now we have a number on the outside. It's just going to remain on the outside, but we're going to break down 32. 32 is an even number, so we can do 32 divided by 2, gives us 16. 2 and 8, 2 and 4, 2 and 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 2's. So we have a 3 on the outside and 5 2's. Now again, we're looking for pairs that are going to come out. Here's a pair that comes out, so we have a 3. 1 pair, here's another pair, and then we have the 2 left inside. 3 times 2 is 6, times 2 is 12, root 2. And that's how we get to that answer. All right, so the final page. Now we have to break down, we're adding or multiplying. So if we are going to add, we have to have a common radicand. So I'm going to break down the 27. We have 3 and 9, 3 and 3. So this breaks down to, here's our pair of 3's that comes out. 3 times 3 with a root 3 left inside, which then becomes 9 root 3. And we're adding that to 2 root 3 because that's already broken down. So since they both have a root 3, 9 plus 2 is 11, root 3 as my final answer. So it's just like combining like terms. All right, number 10, now we're multiplying. So the way we did this is we put these both under the same radical. So we have a 3 and a 5, 2 and a 5, and again, use your calculators to help you divide. So now we can write these in order. So I have a 2, 3, 5, 5, and I'm looking for my pairs. Here's a pair of 5s that comes out. What's left inside is a 2 and a 3, so 2 times 3 is 6. All right, same idea here. So here's a subtraction problem, but we have to break down the 18. The 2 is already prime. So we're going to do that. We have a 2 and a 9, 3 and 3. So we have 3 on the outside. 2 times 3 times 3. There's my pairs. That comes out. So we have 3 times 3 root 2, because the 2 is left inside, which becomes a 9. 9 root 2. This is already simplified, so minus 2 root 2. 9 minus 2 is 7. 7 root 2 is our answer. So this, use some space to do these types of problems, all right? So you need to treat them as 2 separate problems, and at the end, then you're just adding or subtracting them. All right, over here we can put these under one radical again. So we have a 40 we have to break down. We have a 15 we have to break down. We have an x squared and x to the third. I'm going to do the whole numbers first. So 40 we have 2 and 20, 2 and 10, 2 and 5. We have those end ones we're going to put in. 15 we have 3 and 5. So underneath this radical, I'm going to put all my numbers first, and then I'm going to come back and put my variables. So I have 1, 2, 3 2's. I have a 1, 3, and again, I'm only looking at the prime numbers. Ignore that 20 and that 10. And then I have 2 5's. And then I have 2 x's here and 3 x's here, so that's 5 x's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, now I'm doubling back and I'm looking for my pairs. Here's a pair of 2's, that comes out. Here's a pair of 5's, that comes out. We have a pair of x's, so that 1 comes out. Another pair of x's, that comes out. And then what's left inside is a 2 times 3, which is 6, and an x. So there's my 6x. And then I just multiply this stuff on the outside. 2 times 5 is 10. X times x is x squared, root 6x. And that's how I get to my answer.